At the top of this now iconic building lives Ursula von der Leyen. She's the European Commission President and one of the world's most powerful women. It's very nice up there because she has her own private restaurants and uniformed waiters. I have had lunch up there once. And there's also now drone defences. I've had a look around and I can't actually see them, but they've been talking about installing them. Mind you, I wouldn't know what they look like. Ursula and her small army of bureaucrats can make or break multinational companies with their laws. They're also overseeing a huge multi-billion euro aid program to Ukraine and a munitions manufacturing program designed to help Kyiv keep up with the Russian war machine. But all is not well in Brussels. Ursula von der Leyen is hemorrhaging support in the European Parliament, where she needs a majority if she is to secure a second 5-year term. If she succeeds, she'll remain at the hub of the wheel of power. But one miscalculation and she will be consigned to the fate of all former Commission presidents, oblivion. What are her chances? Let's have a look. My name is Justin Stairs. This is a Brussels Signal Explainer. It might be slightly odd, but the 700 plus Euro MPs who will be elected this week and next do not actually have the power to decide who the next European Commission President will be. They can push forward their favourite candidate, but that's a sort of marketing exercise, and the only real power they have is the power to say, no, don't want him, don't want her. In the European Parliament's 66-year history, it has never once rejected a European Commission President candidate. Could this year be the first time? Well, it might well be. Ursula von der Leyen scraped through last time in the European Parliament with a majority of just 9 votes. Her supporter base was from the centre mainly, socialists and Christian Democrats and liberals. Now things are different. There's an expectation that there's going to be a rightward shift as a result of these elections, and so in preparation for that, Mrs. von der Leyen has flirted with one of the right's rising stars. That's Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister and leader of one of the conservative groups in the Parliament. Now, this is risky because whereas Ursula von der Leyen and Giorgia Meloni are getting on great, the left is not happy. And they've threatened even to dump von der Leyen if she carries on flirting. Basically, they're saying, we will never do a deal with the so-called far right. Let us not forget that Meloni is beyond the pale as far as some MEPs are concerned. She was even anti-EU before she took power in Italy, though she has moderated her views substantially since taking power. Therefore, that's one of the risks in the Parliament, but it's not the only one. Von der Leyen is also facing reappointment challenges in the Council of Ministers among the EU nations themselves. This is where our story starts to get a bit murky. The EU nations, when they come to Brussels, they meet in smoke-filled rooms and it's never clear what they're up to. They will have a vote on the next European Commission President under the EU's very complicated qualified majority rules, but in reality it's a stitch-up. The big EU member states, that's Italy, France, Germany and Poland, normally get together and decide who they want to win long before the vote actually takes place. Could there be a rebellion here this time? Well, there are some national capitals that are unhappy with von der Leyen's so-called autocratic style. Others, such as Spain and Ireland, are unhappy that she's thrown her weight behind Israel in the Gaza conflict. So difficult to see how that works out. Meanwhile, all kinds of political nobodies, people you've never heard of, have thrown their hat into the ring, sensing some kind of power vacuum. How would this pan out? Well, the role of French President Emmanuel Macron could be key. He has been the kingmaker in Brussels over the last 5 years, but even here it's uncertain because Macron could be hobbled in the EU elections in France. The polls say he's going to do badly. The next European Commission President could be Ursula von der Leyen, could be one of the declared pretenders, or could actually be an absolute nobody. Brussels is something of a graveyard for politicians who are considered too annoying back home, i.e. they need getting rid of. And von der Leyen was arguably a nobody when she first came to Brussels, though given the ramping up of geopolitical tension, the role Commission President has become a lot more important over the last 5 years. So, will von der Leyen survive the EU elections? Well, I'm not so sure. This swerve to the right is a bit risky because the hard right will not support her.
No, I don't want her to come back. And why? Because she's not transparent.
Donc notre
Est-ce qu'elle
objectif,
aura une majorité au Parlement avant
on va tout faire pour l'empêcher.
And if she can't find the majority there, well, she's going to have to swerve back to the left, isn't she? And will she have burned her bridges by then? There might be just too many critics. She may have made too many enemies. That said, there are lots of moving parts in Brussels, 27 countries, more than 700 MEPs, which makes it a difficult one to call.